In Unit 3, we're going to cover salesperson's licensing. I'm going to show you how to register your business with the Ohio Secretary of State's office. I'm going to show you how to easily obtain a federal employment identification number, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to obtain your Ohio vendor's license. So first, I want to cover salesperson's licensing. Any person that is selling a motor vehicle for a dealer must be licensed with the state of Ohio. Any full-time or part-time salesperson must be licensed immediately upon being hired and may not sell or offer to sell any motor vehicle for the dealership until they have received their salesperson's license. And I want to repeat that magic word here. They must receive their salesperson's license. So you cannot allow a salesperson to start selling vehicles for you until they receive their salesperson's license. And before we cover salesperson's licensing, since your name is going to appear on the dealer's license, you do not need a salesperson's license. Any partner whose name's on the dealer's license, they're not going to need a salesperson's license since you're going to be a dealer. However, when you hire someone to sell for you, they are going to have to obtain a salesperson's license. So right now, I want to show you the salesperson's license application. This is form 4301. Let's take a look at this. At the very top there, the state wants to know if that salesperson or the salesperson's spouse is a military veteran, and if they are, they can enclose the DD 214 discharge papers. Then the salesperson is going to have to enter their information here, and you'll enter your dealership information here, including your dealer permit number. I want to bring your attention to the very top of the second page there. As it says, the applicant, not the dealership, must fill out the portion of this application. Any false information will result in the denial of a salesperson's license. So they do want to know if that salesperson engages in another occupation, and also if that salesperson is a salesperson at another dealership. So in the past, they actually only allowed the salesperson to work at one dealership. Now the state allows the salesperson to work at multiple dealerships. So if that salesperson you're hiring works at another dealership, make sure and put the state and the license number there. The state wants to know if that salesperson has ever been denied an application or if they've ever had a salesperson's license revoked or suspended. And there on question 5, if they've ever worked for a dealership that's had the dealer's license revoked. And once again, there on number 6, they want to know if that salesperson has ever committed any of the disqualifying offenses we talked about earlier. And you can go to ohiodealer.com's homepage, scroll down to the bottom, click on dealer license disqualifying offenses, and you can certainly see a list of all disqualifying offenses. They want to know if that person's ever altered odometers or tampered with odometers, or if they've ever been sued for a motor vehicle transaction or any pending judgments that involve the title defect rescission fund. They want to know if that person's an in-state resident or an out-of-state resident. And as it says right there, they want to be aware that it does take 4 to 6 weeks to get that license back from the state. And I want to read this line right here. We understand that pursuant to section 4517.20 of the revised code that the applicant may not participate in the selling or dealing of motor vehicles or receive any commission or compensation regarding sales until such time the sales license is issued. So once again, you cannot let that salesperson sell for you or pay that salesperson anything until they have actually received their license from the state. Don't let that salesperson sell for you until they have received the license. So once again, this is a form that does have to be notarized, and you can take it down to a bank or dealer auction. Maybe you got an in-house notary, but the state does also allow online notarizations, as I discussed before. But I want to bring a couple of other things to your attention here on the dealer portal. As I stated a little bit earlier, you must notify the BMV whenever you terminate a salesperson within 48 hours. I want to repeat that. You must notify the BMV within 48 hours if you terminate a salesperson. So even if it is an amicable split, the notification must be made, and you can easily give the notification right through the dealer portal. You would just go to the top right there, click on Salesperson Services, and you would select their name and delete it, and that will actually give that notification, okay? But you do have to do this. You can also submit it by mail. This is form 4336. It's a salesperson's termination notice that you see here. So you can mail in that notification as well. But as we move on, I want you to be aware that you must also maintain a list of salespersons that you have working at your dealership. And here you see, remember, this is a state law as well. You have to have a list like this. You do not need to display the list of all your salespersons, but if any B&V investigator or a law enforcement officer, or even if a customer requests to see your salesperson's list, state law requires that you do produce the salesperson's list. So, finally, when your salesperson receives their license, they no longer have to carry it like they used to have to. They used to actually have to carry their salesperson's license, but your salespersons can actually store their license in your records. So do please keep that in mind. Remember, you're going to be the dealer, and you and your partner will not need a salesperson's license, but whenever you hire someone to sell for you, they're going to have a salesperson's license. Now, I want to show you how to register your business with the Ohio Secretary of State's office. And the Ohio Secretary of State is not only the state's leading election authority, they are also the state agency keeping a record of every business that's operating in the state. And they want to know about any new business opening in Ohio, including the dealership that you're getting ready to open. So I'm going to show you how to register your new business with the Ohio Secretary of State's office. But before I do, I want you to be aware of the Secretary of State Corporations Division phone number, and you'll see it in your manual there, and I'll give it to you a few more times. It's 614-466-2655. Once again, that's the Secretary of State Corporations Division at 614-466-2655. And they are a wealth of information for you when you're setting up your business structure. Okay, so also you're going to need to decide your business entity, and they can certainly help you do that as well. So we're going to go to the Secretary of State's website at sos.state.ohio.gov, and here you're going to find a very business-friendly website that will allow you to register your business online first with just a few clicks of the mouse here. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is at the top right there, when you go to the website, click on businesses. So before you do register your business, you will need to find out if the name that you want to use for your dealership is available. And you can easily find the names that are available by scrolling down and clicking on the business search. And on this one, let's just say, for example, I typed in the name Buckeye Motors, okay, as you can see right here. And as you can see, there are several actual companies in the state that do have that name. As you can see here, here's an older one here, Buckeye Motors. That's been out of business for a while. Looks like they started in 1955. So obviously they have a very extensive record of anybody that had the name Buckeye Motors. Just below that, see where it says Buckeye Motors Auto Repair? Well, there's a registered trade name. So you wouldn't be able to use that, any name that's similar to that anyway. That would give them legal recourse. And it also shows, if there's a corporation for profit, domestic limited liabilities, it shows the business structure as well. So you definitely need to be aware of that. So I want you to be aware for the best name protection that you can get is going to be what's known as a trade name. Like you see that Buckeye Motors Auto Repair right there. A trade name is going to give you statewide name protection, and no one else in the state could use that name if you have the trade name. And you can search for several business names that you want to use. And when you find a dealership name that is available, that's the name that you can choose to register. Okay. So once you've chosen a dealership name, you can just click on File Online to register your dealership name with the Secretary of State's office. And this is very automated, very, very easy to do. So next, you're going to click on Submit a Business Filing. And you are going to need to create a username and password for this automated website. And it's going to walk you step by step through the entire business registration process. So you will need to keep track of your filing date, because you're going to enter your filing dates on your dealer license application like I showed you there just a little bit ago. But once again, if you have any questions about business entities or how to register your business, you can call the Secretary of State's office. Once again, that's 614-466-2655. If you have questions on whether you should be a corporation or an LLC or a not-for-profit, they're going to have a limited amount of answers, but they may refer you to get legal advice, but they can certainly steer you in the right direction. So the Secretary of State Corporations Division is just a wealth of information for any business startup. Next, we're going to need to apply for what's known as a federal tax ID number. Before you apply for your Ohio Used Motor Vehicle Dealer's License, you'll need to apply for a federal employment identification number. Sometimes we refer this refer to this as a tax ID number, or sometimes they just say it's an EIN. This is the number that the Internal Revenue Service uses to identify your business for tax purposes. And you can apply for your federal employment number for free at the irs.gov website, or you can actually do it via phone at 800-829-4933. So when you obtain your federal employment number, you will need to record it in a safe place. You're going to be required to enter that number on your initial dealer application, and the BMV will not accept that application unless you have that federal employment number. So you'll need to have that federal employment number before you apply for your dealer's license. And here in a little bit, I'm going to show you how to get your vendor's license. Well, you have to have your federal employment number before you can get your vendor's license. And I'm going to show you how to get your vendor's license here in the very next section. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go to the IRS website. That is irs.gov, and you're going to click down there at the bottom click on Apply Online. This is for your federal employment number, okay? So then we're going to click on Begin Application. And this system is so automated here, you're going to be able to get your federal employment number in just a few moments. I say it takes 5 minutes. It probably doesn't really take 5 minutes. It's just going to take a couple of minutes when you log on after the course to get your federal employment number. So now you'll need to select your business entity. So for this example, I want to show you how to get your federal tax ID number as an LLC. I'm not telling you that you need to start your dealership as an LLC. I'm showing you how to file as an LLC, just as an example only. So, there you see you've got other selections if you're a sole proprietor, partnership, or corporation. But let's say we're filing our dealership as an LLC. So also, let's say, for example, you have two persons on the dealer license. You would say, for example, enter two, then you're going to select Ohio from the drop-down box because we're operating this business in the state of Ohio. The IRS is then going to want to know why you are filing for a federal tax ID number. Well, most of us that are taking this course are starting a new business. So more than likely, that's going to be the check that you hit there. Then you're going to need to enter at least one person's name that appears on the dealer's license, and along with that person's social security number. And then at the bottom of the page, you'll need to select that the person's name above is one of the owners or a member of the LLC. And then you're going to click Continue. Now you'll need to enter the physical address of your dealership along with your dealership phone number. And the IRS also gives the opportunity to you to enter a mail forwarding address if needed. So then you'll easily click Continue. Now you're going to enter the registered name of your business along with any fictitious name or what you're doing business as. Okay, so enter the county of your dealership. The state of your dealership is going to have to be in Ohio. And on a second drop-down box, you will enter the state that you're incorporated in. So if you're incorporated in Ohio, you'll select Ohio from both drop-down boxes. But say, for example, you're headquartered in another state, but your dealership's in Ohio. That second drop-down box would need to be your home state. For us that are in Ohio and opening a dealership in Ohio, you'll select Ohio twice. And plus, you're going to enter your start date. Okay, so and that's all there is to it. Now you're done. Now you have a federal tax ID number, and there are a couple of easy ways you can receive it. You can click on the second box down there, and the IRS will actually mail your FEIN to you. And as it states right there on the screen, it can take up to 4 weeks to get that number. And so, the way I look at that is you just placed a 4-week delay on applying for your dealer's license because you can't apply for your dealer's license until you have your tax ID number. So I recommend just leaving that first box checked on this page, click to continue, and you will be able to print your new tax ID number, right there on the spot. So always be sure to record your new federal employment number in a safe place. So remember, you must have that federal employment number on your dealer application. And once again, if you have any questions about getting your federal employment number, you can call the IRS at 800-829-4933. Next, we're going to obtain a vendor's license. Okay, so before you can become a licensed Ohio dealer, you must obtain an Ohio vendor license. In the unit following this unit, we're going to do what we call a deal, okay? And I'm going to show you the entire motor vehicle transaction process where we're going to go through the whole process, and part of this process will involve the easy collection of sales tax on the vehicles that you're selling. Well, in order to legally charge sales tax on the motor vehicles you're selling, you will need a vendor's license. And I'm going to show you how to obtain your vendor's license right now. I'm going to show you how to easily obtain your vendor license online. But if for some reason you're not comfortable with applying for your vendor's license online, you can simply visit your county courthouse. You'll go into the county auditor's office. You can pay them $25 and get your vendor license right on the spot. But I want to show you how you can avoid that trip and apply for your vendor's license easily online. So we're going to do this. We're going to go apply for our vendor's license online at the Ohio Business Gateway. Now, I want you to be aware this is a completely different website than the dealer portal we were on just a little bit ago. Remember, the dealer portal is only for licensed motor vehicle dealers only. And the Ohio Business Gateway that you see right here is for every business in the state that collects sales tax. So before we start, I want you to be aware that chronologically, we must get our federal tax ID number before we get our vendor's license, because you're going to need your federal tax ID number in order to obtain a vendor number. And at the end of the course, I'm going to give you a chronological checklist that you'll easily be able to show. It'll show you all the steps to complete in a certain order. That way you'll be able to obtain your dealer's license in the quickest manner possible. So let's get started with the application for our vendor's license. And here you see the Ohio Business Gateway. And since we've never used the gateway, we're going to need to create an account down here at the bottom right. Excuse me. And as we get started here, I want you to be aware that we're going to be doing some things during this application process repetitively. I think you have to enter the address of your dealership like 4 times, but it is completely automated, and it's going to guide you through the entire step-by-step process. So first, you'll need to read those terms and agree to those terms right there on the first page. Then you're going to click Next. Then you're going to enter your name, your email, your phone number, your date of birth, the last 4 digits of your social security number. You're going to need to enter a verification information, and again, agree to the terms and conditions. Now you're going to create a username and password. So always be sure to store your record of your username and password in a very safe place, because you certainly don't want to lose that. Okay. And also, later on, we're going to start sales tax reports. So we're going to cover those extensively in the next unit, but you always need to make sure that you have your username and password in order to do that. Now, you must enter your federal employment ID number, or your federal identification number that we got here just a moment ago. But I want to remind you that you must apply for your federal employment number before you apply for your vendor number, because you cannot get your vendor license number without a federal employment number. So here you're going to want to enter that new federal tax ID number that we obtained just a few moments ago. Now you're going to enter your dealership and phone number here, and we're going to enter that address a few more times, as you will see here in just a moment. So make sure and enter your dealership address along with your dealership phone number. So now you have gained access to what's known as the business dashboard. And what we're going to be doing in this process is applying for a county vendor's license registration. Technically, we're going to be collecting sales tax for the state, but we will transfer that sales tax collected to the county first, and then they're going to take a portion of that sales tax, and then the county will transfer the remainder to the state. Okay, so that's why it's actually called a county vendor's license. So there you see that link. You're going to click on the county vendor's license registration link that you see right there. Now, the state wants you to be aware that you're going to be charged $25 for your vendor's license. So you'll need to acknowledge that and then click accept. Now you will enter the date that you will start making taxable sales at your dealership. So as a reminder, when you apply for your dealer's license, you should get the dealer's license back in about 4 to 6 weeks. So you could be collecting sales tax within 1 month. So also, if you're purchasing a dealership from someone, you will need to enter the name and previous vendor number. If not, you would just leave those next 2 blocks as blank. Then the state wants to know if you're going to be selling liquor at your dealership. If you do, I would assume you're going to sell a lot of vehicles, but I would not want to be around your dealership when your customers are taking test drives. So, if you're not selling liquor, then you're just going to leave those boxes blank, and then you're going to click Next. Now you're going to need to select your business entity from the drop-down box. So maybe you're a corporation or an LLC, then you're going to also enter your legal name, your trade name, or your DBA. When you register with the Secretary of State, you should receive what's called a charter number, and you would enter the charter number here. And now I want to bring to your attention two important drop-down boxes that need to be selected correctly. These are what we call our NAICS codes. Once again, they're referred to as NAICS codes. Selecting these codes correctly will ensure the sales tax we collect for motor vehicles that we sell will be distributed to the correct state funds. So what you're going to need to do is select 441 motor vehicle parts dealer from the first drop-down box. Then you'll select 441 120 used car dealers from the second drop-down box. So be sure these numbers are correct. You could even pause the course right here and write those numbers down. Otherwise, the sales tax you transfer to the state would not go into the correct fund, and then you would have to come in here and amend your vendor's license. So make sure those numbers are correct. So when you do collect sales tax, which I'm going to show you how to do in the very next section, and transfer it to the state, it will go in to the proper fund. So then once again, you're going to need to enter the address of your dealership, and don't forget to enter the county that your dealership is located in. And now, once again, you're going to enter your phone number, your address, along with any type of mail forwarding addresses if you need those, okay? And finally, we're going to enter each person whose name appears on the dealer's license, along with their social security number, phone numbers, home addresses, and things like that. So make sure all that information is correct. Then you're going to click Next. And now what you see here is the Accept My Payment Selections button at the very bottom of the page. And this system will automatically take you to the state's secure payment portal, where you can securely enter your credit card information and pay your $25 vendor license fee. So it's very automated there with just a couple of steps. And here on the next page, you are done. And you can easily print your vendor license by clicking on that print license button there at the very bottom right of the screen. Okay, so once you've done that, be sure to record your vendor license number in a safe place. And remember, your vendor number must be included on your dealer application. And as I stated before, if you do not want to apply for a vendor license online, you can go to your county auditor's office in your county's courthouse and apply for your vendor number right there. Okay, so hey, let's do our Unit 3 review. So in Unit 3, we have learned that all salespersons must be licensed. You must notify the BMV when a salesperson is terminated within 48 hours. You must notify the BMV when a licensed salesperson is transferred. Remember, dealers are going to need to register with the Ohio Secretary of State's office. You must apply for a federal employment identification number, and you must apply for an Ohio vendor license number. So, hey everyone, I want to remind you that you can view this video and all the other videos in your dealer training course after the course. You know, and at that time, you can fast forward through the videos to find the exact content that you would like to review by visiting ohiodealer.com and then click on the course videos link at the very top of the page.